Of course, here is the story of Abraham and his son, based on the Bible. Abraham, full of pain and anguish, but trusting in God's will, prepared everything for the sacrifice. He cut the wood, carried it on his shoulders and together with Isaac, his son, set out for the indicated place. As they walked, Isaac innocently asked his father about the sacrificial lamb. Abraham, with a heavy heart, replied, "God will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." When they arrived at the designated place, Abraham built an altar and arranged the wood on it. Then, with trembling hands, he tied his son and placed him on the altar, ready to fulfill God's commandment. At that crucial moment, as the blade was about to fall on Isaac, an angel of the Lord called to Abraham from heaven, saying, "Do not lay your hand on the lad and do nothing to him, for now I know that you fear God, because you denied me your son, your only son." Thus, Abraham demonstrated his deep faith and obedience to God, showing that he was willing to sacrifice what he loved most in the name of his devotion to the Lord. Because of his unshakable faith, Abraham received God's blessing and was called the father of many nations. This story is a powerful example of faith, obedience, and trust in God, and has been a source of inspiration for many over the centuries. The story of Abraham and Isaac is remembered as an example of absolute trust in God, even in the most difficult times. She teaches us the importance of obedience, faith, and the willingness to sacrifice everything in the name of God's will. Through the generations, this story has been told and retold, inspiring people of all ages to trust God in all circumstances, knowing that He will always provide and guide those who love Him. After the sacrificial episode, Abraham's life continued to be marked by significant events. He witnessed the death of his wife Sarah and, in his old age, found a wife for his son Isaac, thus ensuring the continuity of God's promised lineage. Abraham lived a remarkable life of faith until the end of his days. He was called the friend of God and left a lasting legacy for all future generations. Isaac, in turn, also grew up to be a man of faith and obedience. He continued the lineage of Abraham, becoming the father of Jacob and Esau, who would be the patriarchs of the 12 tribes of Israel. The story of Abraham and Isaac stands as a powerful reminder of the importance of trusting God, even in times of great challenge. It encourages us to seek God's will in all areas of our lives and to trust that He is faithful to fulfill His promises. Thus, the saga of Abraham and Isaac is not just an isolated story in the Bible, but a narrative that echoes through the centuries, inspiring people to live lives of faith, courage, and obedience. Jesus' sacrifice on the cross reflects God's incomparable love for humanity and His willingness to reconcile man with Himself. This connection between Abraham's sacrifice and Jesus Christ's sacrifice is a recurring theme in Christian theology, highlighting God's faithfulness in fulfilling His promises and His redeeming love for His people. The story of Abraham and Isaac also teaches us about the importance of trust and a relationship with God. Abraham trusted God completely, even when His commands seemed incomprehensible and painful. This trust was rewarded with divine intervention and the confirmation of God's promises. Just like Abraham, we are called to trust God in all circumstances, even when we don't fully understand His plans. We must cultivate an intimate relationship with Him, seeking His will in prayer and obeying His commandments, knowing that He always works for our good. Therefore, the story of Abraham and Isaac is much more than an ancient account, is a source of spiritual wisdom that continues to challenge and inspire us today. She reminds us of the importance of a living and active faith, which manifests itself in obedience and trust in God in every moment of our lives. If you like stories like this, comment "I love Jesus." Until the next video, God bless.